Could you tell me the story of why you moved from Canada?
Yeah.
Why X?
I'll tell you it to you, Astroman97. Thank you so much. Bronze Whaler, thanks so much as well. So there I was in Canada. I was a young man. I was 21 years old. I just got back from a hard day of training polar bears and moose out in the wild tundra of Alberta. And got home. Man, I was like pretty sweaty, although it was quite cold. And it was pretty dirty as well. Polar bears and mooses and Canadian wildlife are all pretty dirty. It's a pretty hostile part of the world, really, when you think about it. So I get home and I'm pretty tired, right? I'm all sweaty and tired, and I'm just ready to have a wash, ready to have some dinner or whatever. So I go into my bathroom and I start running myself an ice bath, you know, just to like. Just to warm up a little bit. Oh, an empty map too, nice. And also just to, you know, just for something to do too. It's pretty boring in Alberta. There's not really much to do there. I don't know if you've ever been to that part of the world. And anyway, so I run a bath and I put a bunch of bubbles in and I get in and I just start washing myself and just lathering up and just generally warming up, or this like steam coming off the bath and everything. It's wonderful. Like it was a really hard day. So then I finish up, and I'm thinking about food at this point. Pretty hungry, so thinking about going down to the kitchen to like get myself something to eat or whatever. And I go to let the water out of the bath. I don't know like what kind of bath plug you've got, but I have this one where it's like round. You twist it, and the plug like pops up at the bottom. So I go to use it, and fucking just nothing happens. Like, nothing happens. So I'm sitting there in this, like, gross, soap, scummy water. Fuck this fucking horse. What the fuck is the problem here? Why can't you get by here? Nixon. Anyway. So there I am, fiddling around with the bath plug in my bath, trying to get it to work, and of course it's not. Man, this fucking horse in the water situation is just such garbage, isn't it? So in the end, I try and I tried so hard and I got so far, but in the end, I couldn't get the plug to go. It just wouldn't work. So all of this like soap scummy water is stuck in the tub. So I figured, well, I'll just go downstairs and, you know, fucking start making some food or whatever. I was hungry. And so there I am eating my Kraft dinner. I'm just about to put my maple syrup on it. And all of a sudden there's a knock at the door. So I'm thinking to myself, that's weird. I wasn't expecting any company or anything today. Like, who could it be? And, you know, a couple of thoughts went through my mind. Like, is it a polar bear, or maybe it's a moose or whatever? So I opened the door, and there's a you know, proud member of the RCMP standing there in his full Mountie uniform. I lived in a rural area, so they still wear the ceremonial dress, you know, the Mountie hat and everything. So I say, "Good evening, officer. How can I help you?" And he's like, "Yeah, we've had some reports of some wrongdoing in this neck of the woods. What are you talking about?" He's like, "Well, did you know that it's an offense to leave a bathtub full of soap, scummy, disgusting bathwater unattended in the province of Alberta?" No, I've never heard anything like that in my life. That sounds crazy. He's like, "Well, it's the law, Sonny Jim." Well, fuck the law, I said to him. So then he like took off his shirt and started screaming and just did like this bear tackle on me, got me down on the ground, cuffed me, and he pulled me into the station, and they're like, they were pretty upset. They're like, "Nobody says fuck the law in our proud country." I was like, "Well, I was just trying to eat some dinner. I had low blood sugar at the time. Like, I didn't mean any offense or whatever. I was just like a bit rocked by the accusations and stuff, and it's not my fault that my bath plug didn't work." And they're like, well, this is the last straw. Like, you know, you've screwed up too many times. And I said, "No, I haven't. This is the first time I've actually ever been arrested." And they're like, "No, no, we've been watching you for a long time. And I said, oh, really? They're like, yeah. And they were like, we're going to have to deport you. And I said, well, to where? This is the country that I was born in. This is where I'm from. Like, I have nowhere to go. And they're like, well, we'll find somewhere for you. So they put me on a boat, a random boat, and then just cast me off into the ocean. They said, never come back. So I was like, okay. So there I am on a boat for what felt like a long time. I passed out a couple of times and came back into consciousness a few times. I was very dehydrated. I hadn't had any like fresh water. They didn't give me anything. They stole all of my Kraft Dinner and my maple syrup, and they said I'd never see a polar bear ever again and stuff. Like it was pretty rough. And then next thing I know, I wake up on a beach and I look up, and right in front of me is this gigantic tower with a clock on it, and I was like, I recognize that. It's Big fucking Ben. I must be in England. And then this woman wearing a mini skirt with the Union Jack on it and no teeth, and she was carrying like a tray with teacups on it, came up and she said, "How you doing, governor?" And I was like, "Oh my god, really?" And then that's it. That's the story. That now I've been here ever since. It's pretty fucked up, eh? But it's true. It's true, and that's how it happened. The rest is history. God, met up with a bunch of crazy guys playing World of Warcraft, and now I stream full time, Mondays to Fridays, pretty much 9 to 5. I treat it like just a normal job, you know. Got pretty good work-life balance. I got a wife and 2 kids, and I got a pet tortoise, and man, things are really looking up. But I still every once in a while wake up in the middle of the night sweating and screaming. Occasionally, sometimes I'll go into my bathroom, and still to this day, I see soap scummy bathwater filling the tub, and then weird like eerie violin music starts playing, and then I scream, and the scene goes to black, and that's the end of my 9th feature film. So there we go.